Hi, once again, this is your boy Terry. My username across the internet is surpassing Google. Um, to contact me, everything is underneath this video in the description. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the topic at hand. What are the best resources for, outsourcing? Sorry, what are the best options for code outsourcing in the Philippines, especially for startups? Um, that question is uh, anyway. Let me just talk in general. I'll highlight some of my experience and touch on unconventional methods to go about outsourcing your code or seeking out the services of developers or programmers for early startups. Being early, there's a likelihood that you may not have enough funding, which is the case in my case. I have three startups and I struggled with funding. But when it comes to programming, especially if you're a project owner that cannot program, it's not about funding, really. It's about finding broader programmers or, programmers that want to be part of historical history in the process of helping you develop your dream. It's mostly about that than anything else. You know, Funding, it's possible to lose your entire budget to this process. It's a very critical process in project development, and it's possible to lose your entire seed funding to programmers, have your project stalled, and if you're not solid in your conviction, about backing your project, have you quit your project. It's very difficult to build projects, especially if you're a non programmer project owner, and especially in the early stages of your startup. you know there are many elements, factors. You want to shape your dream, and in some cases you have to be stubborn about this. You find certain developers that, they don't have share your mentality when it comes to backing your project. Even when you provide the funds, they may take the easy route, and then your original vision or intention sways out of desperation. Maybe you have availed the services of a developer and he cannot work. Maybe the algorithm or a particular aspect of the project is too complex for him. Some programmers will not tell you, because maybe you have paid them upfront. They will want to, provide a service at least, and uh, when they know that they're not capable of giving you the service, they'll either work around it or, give you subper or sway your intention. And then because weeks have flown by or months have flown by and so much stalling and delay, you just accept it. Before you know it, your vision is not intact, your dream sways, and you you end up developing the project but away from your original mission. So relationships are very important when it comes to these things. That is why I'll mostly recommend, you know going back to, generations when there was no internet, where you have to network and connect with people on a personal level. I think that's a better route to take, or just better mentality to carry on this journey. Even when you connect with someone online, look forward to building a connection or a true relationship. you know Pitch your project to people and, turn them into true fans of your project. Then money will not be the entire factor. So these are some of the things to open your mind with, first of all, as you begin to search developers to help you with code. Now, unlike before, there are many resources available. If your project, for example, is open source, you have a better chance of finding developers that want to back your dream. Some developers have become fans of open source projects, They have the mindset of just contributing code to projects that are open to everyone. So there's a chance and likelihood that you may find developers that will really help you even on a limited budget when your project is open source. So now that's a decision to make on your, but when you're making such decision, it shouldn't be out of desperation. If you're a dream builder, you have to be solid, back your dream with conviction. Most times there will be odds, you surmount those odds. So now, if your project is open source or you've decided that your project is open source, you can find developers directly on GitHub. Go to GitHub and just scan around, scan around, look for developers there, and if you have a and look for a way to contact them. Some of them have their contact information on right there on GitHub. You can also create issues on GitHub. It's unconventional and the hard route is stressful, but it can turn out organic. So look for projects similar to yours. If you are just starting out, you may want to find a project that can form your base. This will, set you up inspiration wise, also reduce your cost. It's possible to find a base for your code that you can adjust to fit your needs. So by forking an existing project on GitHub, you can contact their owners and discuss a collaboration. Now, it's also possible that you don't want to collaborate, especially in the early stages of project building. You want to, establish the vision within the dream of your project first before going into a partnership. So just contact people on GitHub. That's a good place to start. Now, other places is Facebook. You can go to Facebook and put out a job offer, or there are some groups with developers. Do it based on your location. I think it's better when you can find a developer or programmer in your location that you can meet physically. It has more impact. In my case, most of my developers are not physically in physical proximity with me. It's all online, and there's a big hassle. The you know there's no way you can really have full impact on them because you can't see them in person. Even though they turn out brothers, because of the you're not physically present with them, you're not able to gear them up as you would if you can find a physical programmer in your location that you can meet and become friends and hang out and inspire in person. So go on Facebook and join groups in your location, then put out a job. Just be yourself. Say that your startup is in its early stages and you really want someone that lives close to you. Let's hang out and discuss projects, stuff like that. So Facebook is another option. Another solid option is blockchain platforms. This is not common knowledge. Blockchain is a new industry, but it exists. And on blockchain, there are many developers, and many of these developers have the incentive of supporting projects, especially projects built on blockchain, because project built on blockchain add more value to the blockchain and to the digital currency attached to the blockchain. So you can consider building your project on the blockchain. Where you do so, your project can have its own digital currency, and that is a fundraising opportunity where you can give out your digital currency in exchange for money to fund your project. Besides, you'll find developers that want to help you build your project. One such platform is Steam. Steemit.com is a blockchain that allows you to create decentralized applications on. It has like 400 applications, and I have three of my startups on the Steam blockchain. And there are many developers I found there that have contributed code to my projects even for free. Just because they have seen potential in my startups in terms of adding value to the Steam blockchain and the Steam digital currency. So for that, you just need to contact me. I'll direct you underneath the video. I have my contact information. I also have a community of like 5,000 people on Discord and several developers there as well. Developers I've come across and know that can help even with a limited budget. You'll need to contact me when it comes to blockchain. But in general, now that you know blockchain, you can join steamy.com or add the word blockchain to your search query so that you find blockchain-based outlets that provide you with developers to support your projects. Now, there are also meetups. You can look for meetups on Facebook and attend them and see if you can find a physical uh, uh, rendezvous of programmers and then build a connection. You can also go to schools, colleges, fourth year IT students. If you're in the Philippines, go to schools and just find there are some developers that are trying to hone their expertise. They don't teach them much programming in schools. So where possible, if you have decided so, you can put out your project as case study. Let them experiment practice code using your project as case study. This will develop your project while they hone your expertise and reduce your budget. Sometimes even for free. A budding programmer will help because they also want to practice coding themselves. So look for IT students, fourth year, and just become friends. And now, another thing, like I mentioned, is the blockchain. You can create your project on the blockchain, create a digital currency, and use that to raise funds. If you have a good idea for your project, create a paper. Some people call it a white paper. I have a colorless paper, and offer your tokens uh, for people to back your projects. They can purchase your tokens. You can use that to build your projects, and while they have a stake in your project when it goes live. So these are some of the general options that you have but for the most part, the important thing is the mentality. Just have the mentality of creating connections like brothers, especially if you're a non-programmer, because there are many barriers to entry if you're a non-programmer. You cannot ascertain the complexity of tasks, to where you can ascertain the probable budget. So you'll have issues when it comes to relationships, because you don't know estimated delivery duration for a particular task. I created an entire enterprise called MacroHard to solve this, but it's still a startup and soon will be helping everyone build their projects when I've garnered a network of brother programmers. So let's stay in touch. In general, uh, yes, then learn a measure of coding. Start with open source projects, just fork a project and so that you can know at least how to set up locally on your PC, just so that you gain some insight into what your developers are doing. You can have a more level playing field when it comes to discussing with developers. They don't see you as entirely novice, so that's your relationship is better. Now, programmers versus programmers, it's easier. The relationship is easier, but I'm focusing mostly on people that are non-programmers. If you're located in the Philippines, Manila, let's hang out and brainstorm ways to find developers. I'm looking for developers as well in the Philippines, but I've not been physically fit to move around. So my aim is to set up a hub, and the aim of the hub is to target programmers. So when the hub is set, I will start going to schools, invite them to just hang out in my hub, put in a few computers, let them play around, and before you know it, we will meet with some programmers in the Philippines. I, for one, will help you when MacroHard is ready, even with my resources to help you build your projects. You know, especially when I have a large populace of programmers, maybe student programmers, we'll have to look for projects to build on a cheap budget. See, I created a programming protocol that will enable anybody to build projects without any stress, and that is upcoming. Now, one more thing you can do, you may need to contact me, is set up a community around your project. This will attract like minds. You can do this on the Steam blockchain. Just join Steam, then you will be able to set up a community. You can contact me to direct you. On your community, you can set admins, modes, and just build it around your projects. And you'll have backers because people loving your projects will join the community. They'll give you unadulterated feedback on the evolution of your project. And before you know it, developers will start contacting you. It's possible when you have a good project and some publicity for your project, there are developers that will contact you, because they see value or potential value in what you're building and they want to be part of it. And some developers are just inspired by your drive. Some programmers, they just need inspiration. It's not easy to code and stuff like that. So when they see you constantly updating your community about your efforts with developing your projects, and they'll contact you. Humans are powerful. We have spirit, and that's why connections are possible. Anyway, I'll stop there. If you have any questions, ask me. All my contacts is underneath this video. And links to my startup as well. Let's collaborate, especially if you're in the Philippines. Um, yes. So let's stop there. If you have any more questions, let's brainstorm together. Contact me. I'm your boy Terry. My username is surpassing Google across the internet. Stay awesome.